In a world where communication and influence determine success, few people have mastered the art of negotiation, like former FBI hostage negotiator Christopher Voss. His book reveals how techniques developed to save lives in the most extreme circumstances can transform how we handle everyday negotiations, from business deals to family discussions. This exploration of negotiation as both science and art demonstrates that the skills used to rescue hostages can help anyone achieve better outcomes in their daily interactions. Chapter 1. The Author. Christopher Voss, known as Chris Voss, is an American businessman and writer with an extraordinary background. He served as an FBI hostage negotiator for more than 20 years, handling critical situations in New York, the Philippines, and the Middle East. His extensive career in this high-stakes profession has given him unique insights into human psychology and communication under pressure. Today, Voss applies his expertise as a consultant, teaching management courses and providing negotiation training to professionals across various industries. The book benefits from the collaboration of Tal Raz, a journalist and New York Times best-selling author who brings his own expertise in communication and business writing. Raz has held executive positions including content director and CEO at an online education company, adding valuable perspective to the negotiation strategies presented in the book. Chapter 2. Negotiation. Based on his experience, Voss specialized in perhaps the most challenging type of negotiation that exists: hostage negotiations. In these situations, the negotiator plays a crucial role where failure is not an option. The stakes are literally life and death, requiring exceptional skill and emotional control. However, you do not need to be an FBI agent to benefit from these negotiation principles in daily life. Negotiation is woven into the fabric of every choice we make. We negotiate with family members about television programs, discuss video game time with children, bargain while shopping, and handle workplace discussions. According to Voss, our entire life is essentially one continuous negotiation. Those who avoid negotiation must reconsider this stance, as negotiating is often not optional, but rather an essential part of social interaction. Negotiation is fundamentally a form of communication designed to achieve specific results. It means obtaining what you want from decisions that involve other people. Generally speaking, negotiation serves two distinct and vital functions. The first function is gathering information, while the second is influencing behavior and decisions. It is crucial to understand that negotiating is not synonymous with oppressing or intimidating others. True negotiation involves emotion, self-control, and persuasion. Without self-control and emotional balance, successful negotiation becomes impossible. According to Voss, this represents the first lesson he teaches in negotiation training. He asks a fundamental question: if you cannot control your own emotions, how can you expect to influence someone else's emotions? Particularly in complex cases like hostage rescues, negotiation becomes an intricate emotional game requiring mastery of both personal and interpersonal dynamics. Simultaneously, negotiation is an art of persuasion. It consists of convincing the person you are negotiating with that your solution is the best option, but in a way that makes them believe the solution originated from them. In other words, to receive what you request, you must know how to make your request effectively and strategically. Chapter 3. Tactical Empathy. One of Voss's most important insights is that every successful negotiation begins with the act of listening. What he terms tactical empathy involves listening as if it were a martial art. This means listening with complete focus, observing not only what is being said, but also how it is being communicated, including tone of voice and body language. In this context, listening is not a passive activity. Instead, it represents active behavior, because the person who controls the conversation during a negotiation is the one who listens effectively. While the speaker reveals information that can be crucial for the negotiation's development, the listener has the power to direct the conversation toward achieving their objectives. It is essential to remember that all human beings want to be heard, understood, and accepted. By listening attentively, a skilled negotiator can convey empathy and demonstrate sincerity regarding the other person's intentions and concerns. Having empathy does not mean you must agree with the other person, but rather that you acknowledge their situation and communicate that you are genuinely listening. Once a person feels confident that they are being heard, they often share useful information for the negotiation in an almost instinctive manner. Chapter 4: The no is part of the negotiation. In our society, we commonly learn to value yes and avoid no. Negotiation experts also believed they should prioritize yes for many years. However, it is now understood that no can actually represent the beginning of negotiation. According to Voss, people have a natural need to say no because it gives them a sense of control and autonomy. Therefore, in negotiation, the best approach is to give people the opportunity to say no early in the process. Allow them to express that they are not ready to agree or that they do not want something specific. Let them feel they have independence and control over their decisions in the negotiation process. Often, saying no opens the negotiation and allows real problems and concerns to surface. By creating space for no, you can eventually reach yes, which is your ultimate negotiation goal. The key is understanding that no is not rejection, but rather the starting point for meaningful dialogue. Chapter 5. Some key lessons from a great negotiator. Throughout his book, Voss emphasizes several critical negotiation lessons. Some are specific, such as vocal techniques, while others are more general principles. Successful negotiation involves having the correct mindset, not about being right and convincing others of your correctness. You must be prepared for surprises, particularly negative ones that can derail your strategy. You should not cling to assumptions, but instead work with hypotheses that can be tested and adjusted. Remember that negotiation is fundamentally a discovery process. Your objective is to extract as much information as possible from the interaction. You must not allow internal thoughts or voices to dominate your mind. This requires focusing completely on the person with whom you are negotiating. Observation is crucial. Beyond words, body language and tone of voice serve as important tools in any negotiation. Moving slowly is essential. Demonstrating haste risks undermining the other person's understanding and trust in you. Empathy remains vital. Imagine yourself in the other person's position, though this does not mean agreeing with them. Smiling demonstrates a positive mental state. This helps encourage the other person to collaborate and respond to your questions more readily. Chapter 6: 3 Tones of Voice. Regarding the tones of voice used by negotiators, Voss identifies 3 particularly important approaches. The radio announcer-style voice is calm and slow, helping create an aura of authority and confidence while preventing the other person from becoming defensive. The positive and playful voice uses a calm and pleasant tone with a light and encouraging attitude, always accompanied by a genuine smile. The direct and assertive voice is used more rarely, as it can create resistance and cause problems in the negotiation process. Chapter 7: The Use of the Word Justice. In any negotiation, both sides want to feel they have reached a fair agreement. Therefore, Voss emphasizes that we must not use the word justice carelessly. It must be employed in a positive and constructive manner. When used properly, the word justice has the power to set the negotiation stage, creating an appearance of empathy and honesty. It is important to prevent people from feeling treated unfairly, as they typically respond by going on the attack. Voss suggests using this word early in the negotiation by saying something like, "I want you to feel that you are being treated fairly throughout this entire process." He makes it clear that he welcomes interruption at any time if the other person feels he is being unfair. Sincerity is crucial when making such statements. As a negotiator, building a reputation for fairness is fundamental, as this creates a strong foundation for negotiation success. Chapter 8: The Theory of Perspective. Created in the 1970s by psychologists, the theory of perspective relates to how people make choices in moments involving risk, such as during negotiations. According to this theory, during negotiation, we are naturally attracted to options that seem safer, and we fear what might represent a loss, even when that probability is lower. To gain advantages in complex negotiations, you must show the other side that they will lose something concrete if the agreement between you fails. This goes beyond simply showing the other party what they want. It involves demonstrating what they will lose. Some tactics related to perspective theory include starting the negotiation by generating empathy, allowing the other person to speak first, and surprising them with a gesture that activates reciprocity. Another interesting technique involves using odd and precise numbers when appropriate. Rounded numbers ending in 0 appear to occupy temporary space in negotiation, while specific numbers like $47,385 suggest careful calculation based on criteria and reflection. Chapter 9: Calibrated Questions. In negotiation, everything you say and how you say it carries positive or negative weight. Regarding questions, Voss reveals what he calls calibrated questions, which guide conversation and allow you to introduce ideas without sounding arrogant. These questions avoid words and verbs like is, can, are, and will, because these expressions create closed sentences that can be answered with brief yes or no responses. Instead, it is better to use words like what, who, when, where, and how, since every negotiation is built through an information-gathering process. Voss provides examples of effective calibrated questions. How can we solve this problem? What is important to you here? How can I help make this better for us? How should I approach this? What is the objective? Questions beginning with how are most strongly advocated by Voss because they have the power to keep the other person engaged while simultaneously keeping them off balance. These questions force them to think but give them the illusion of control, as they must tell you how to proceed. When used skillfully, how questions can shape the entire negotiation environment. Calibrated questions work because they collect information without the other person realizing it. Additionally, they please the other party by making them feel they are in command. They create an illusion of control in the negotiation, while the truth is that you remain in charge. Chapter 10: The Pinocchio Effect. Most people know the classic story of Pinocchio and understand that it is easy to tell when he is lying by looking at his nose. In real negotiation, detecting when someone is lying is not so simple. However, techniques exist that help with this observation. Generally speaking, people give revealing signs when they are lying. On average, liars tend to construct complex sentences to disguise their deception. This is called the Pinocchio effect, meaning that the quantity of words used is usually directly proportional to the lie being told. Another indicator is that liars habitually use more third-person pronouns. They speak about he, she, them, and theirs while avoiding the word I, attempting to create distance between themselves and the falsehood they are presenting. In the society we live in, negotiating is not optional. Negotiation is part of life and our daily routine, often catching us by surprise. Therefore, the best preparation is to develop competency in the art of negotiation. This book proves its value by presenting lessons through engaging examples drawn from Voss's extensive experience. However, like any other method, successful negotiation requires practice to achieve mastery. If you intend to develop these skills further, you can begin immediately with one of the best teachers available, an experienced FBI agent who has tested these techniques in the most challenging circumstances imaginable.